thousands, if not millions of people who have witnessed these UFOs and had encounters with extraterrestrials when the governments of the world are saying, no, you're wrong. There are no such things as UFOs. Well, UFOs from other planets, and the extraterrestrials, it's just a figment of your imagination. Like, they can't call it swamp gas anymore.
Well, no, they can't. But, now the problem becomes, as we evolved, and so did the technology, and as the technology evolved, it's no longer specifically limited to people who have funds. Mm-hmm. Well, it is limited to people who have funds, but let's just say you could acquire the technology, the same technology that's utilized in space by NASA, and I can show you with the same kind of technology utilized in space by NASA that events on Earth correspond to what took place on the Moon or on Mars and on these shuttle missions, which NASA does film on most cases. All the events are corresponding. So we are indeed being visited by extraterrestrials based on the physical evidence. And NASA has it. They have the evidence. And it all started from the Apollo moon mission programs. So with all of that data, they can't conceal all of that. And I've got samples taken on the moon that match objects on Earth. 100%. How do you dispute that? You can't.
Tell me about the plasma-based spacecraft with the fluidic properties that you have some knowledge about.
Well, I imaged in 2002 a formation of luminous green spheres. And it's interesting that those luminous green spheres that I imaged at the U.S. Capitol building July 16, 2002, just so happened to have been imaged in space by Apollo 7, Apollo 11, Apollo 14, and 16. So we have physical evidence in terms of 16-millimeter motion picture film, because that's what NASA used during the moon mission programs. They didn't have advanced video technology as we have right now,
right,
considering we are talking about analog technology. And here is a 16-millimeter film sample taken from outside the command module of Apollo 11, showing luminous green spheres which had fluidic property associated to them, that they flowed like liquid as they moved, at least based on the physical evidence that was filmed by the 16-millimeter camera on board the command module. And the samples that I have taken in 2002 with a 35-millimeter high-definition Nikon F5 camera, which was a state-of-the-art film camera for 35-millimeter film photography, is purely state-of-the-art, showing the exact same anomalous objects that were imaged outside the command module, stationary in the air above the U.S. Capitol building. Stationary. So we can connect the dots, at least what we have here in terms of, if we look at it forensically speaking, we can take the physical evidence taken from the Apollo 11 mission and compare it to the physical evidence obtained in 2002 at the U.S. Capitol building, and because both medias are the same, with the difference of format, 16-millimeter and 35-millimeter, but they are still essentially the same media, film, and the film comparative analysis indicates that what was imaged in space and what was imaged at the U.S. Capitol building were 100% the same.
In your opinion, based on the research you've done, do these craft and their occupants pose a threat to humankind?
Well, let's take this now back to Area 51, and I'm filming for Country Music Television, My Big Redneck Vacation, and I led the Area 51 expedition for the Rednecks. And in the perimeter of Area 51, while my film was filming near the main gate, I filmed a series of luminous objects which in my sample slithered in the sky like snakes. Based on the physical sample, what you see is what looks like a snake slithering in the sky. And whatever one of these objects was, it instructed me to leave the area immediately. And I complied immediately when I got that command. And within 1 minute of getting back to my crew van, the BBC, MTV crew that I was with were being arrested by humans from Area 51. The aliens warned me of that, and they wanted me out of there, and I got the data while my crewmates had their video taken from them. Government confiscated their footage while I was able to get out with mine. So I have proof, without a doubt, that it is not the aliens that are hostile, it's the humans associated to it that are, because they're greedy and they want to hold that information for themselves, especially the technology.
If these visitors are as highly evolved technologically and physiologically as we believe them to be, or as they appear to be, why don't they just, if their intentions are not hostile, just make a massive landing so they can prove once and for all they are here, they mean no harm, and let's get on with life?
Your first reaction, if you were Joe Blow, would be to go home and get your gun. Now, what do you think? Do you want to land in front of that?
Well, for one thing, I don't have a gun. Number two,
for those who do have it, and keep in mind, we're still dealing with relatively small-minded individuals here, because 73% of the world's population has to be told what to do, and those individuals would not understand an alien landing at all, because they were indoctrinated into believing that that would be hostile. Just based on the media inconsistencies which are being perpetrated by the media.
But what responsibility does the government take in all of this?
I think they're blowing smoke screens around us. I think that they don't want us to know that these extraterrestrials are visiting us, because it would destabilize what's already destabilized.
All right, but can we really blame the aliens for the state of the world? Don't we have to take responsibility for that?
No, we can't.
Yeah.
The responsibility is in our hands. It wasn't aliens that made everything go south. We did it. We didn't cause Fukushima. We did it.
So how long do you think these visitors have been actually watching us and keeping track of what we're doing?
Since cavemen.
Are they the gods and the angels that our ancestors talked about?
That's what we read about. That's what we're reading about in the Bible. It's been reformatted to make us believe something else, but the realities are it is a close encounter we're reading about.
The powers to be have been perpetrating one of the biggest conspiracies, cover-ups of all times.
Truth and untruth. Truth in the matter in the sense that things like stargates and wormhole technology do exist. And to answer your question again on plasma-based spacecraft and fluidic properties of some anomalies associated to them, are in my photographic samples, especially in those luminous spheres, which I will call an orb, but not necessarily an orb that's associated to backscatter, which most people are photographing. If they're using a flash camera and you're flashing something, it's going to backscatter whatever.
Wilbur, I'm going to have to ask you. Wilbur, I'm going to have to ask you to hold on here. I've got to take a commercial break with the news. Exonation, Wilbur Allen's our guest. UFODC.com. We'll be back on the other side of this break. And the news, don't go away. My name is Rob McConnell, and I would like to tell you about a very special lady that I have the pleasure of knowing, and that's Miss Sylvia Anthony. Sylvia Anthony believes the golden years are a time to gear up and get busy, not relax and take it easy. She has faced many hardships in her 84 years, but they have made her stronger and more determined. As founder and president of Sylvia's Haven, a shelter for women and their children near Boston, Sylvia has helped transform over 1,086 lives in the past 27 years, not only with housing, but also providing direction as to where they can go to develop the earning skills they want and need to live free from difficult domestic situations. Sylvia's Haven is everything to Sylvia Anthony, even calling it her magnificent obsession. Women who qualify for the program at Sylvia's Haven receive assistance via guidance counselors to find the appropriate job opportunity. Women and their children may remain at the housing for up to 2 years. At the end of this time, or sooner, a woman who is successfully employed and has an apartment or home may leave Sylvia's Haven to begin a new and independent life. Now this is where you come in to help make Sylvia's dream into a reality. Sylvia's dream is to have a Sylvia's Haven in every state to help as many women and their children as she can, and to help this dream come true. A crowdfunding site has been established which can be accessed at www.sylviasdream.org. Now that's www.sylviasdream.org. With your financial help and support, Sylvia Anthony will continue to help those in their time of need, not only in the Boston area, but with her dream of having a Sylvia's Haven in every state of the United States. Your help is needed to make Sylvia's dream come true. Please visit and give at www.sylviasdream.org. Once again, www.sylviasdream.org. And remember, the only difference between a dream and reality is just doing it. We need your help to make Sylvia's dream come true. Visit www.sylviasdream.org. Once again, www.sylviasdream.org. For the X Zone Radio TV show and the X Chronicles newspaper, I am Rob McConnell. Now you can dial in to listen to the X Zone Radio Show from anywhere in the world with Rob McConnell 24/7, 365 by dialing 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080. If you have a mobile phone or landline, the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is now at your beck and call at 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080, 24/7, 365.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Explanation Wilbur Allen is my guest this hour, www.ufodc.com. Wilbur, what is the truth behind what happened at Roswell, New Mexico, going back to 1947?
Well, it's interesting. I believe, and in that time frame, America was experimenting with high-end radar, and it's theorized that radar technology in the 1940s would destabilize the propulsion field of an extraterrestrial vehicle, which it did. And in fact, there are reports where 3 objects came down in 1950 in Mexico, New Mexico, I believe. And the occupants of the objects that came down just happened to come out of the sky during the testing of a radar technology that was being used. The occupants were small aliens in silver gray spacesuits.
How many crashes, UFO crashes, do you believe there are that have happened since the Roswell crash? And how can people, and I'm talking about the powers to be, how can they suppress the information about a crash that has been witnessed by so many people?
Well, it's interesting how they do it, that the machine is very well established. First, what they do is they shed doubt and put information that's cast doubt on the credibility on whatever samples they're presented. So they make it look like, it's something somebody did misleading, somebody concocted something, so they try to put a spin on it to make you look stupid. Or, in most cases, what happens is, and the news media is mainly guilty for this, in that an event that happens today, tomorrow is old news. So they forget about it. It moves on. The chain of progress in news moves on. It doesn't dwell on one event specifically. And, when you think about, for example, the green objects that I encountered at the U.S. Capitol building July 16, 2002, the same